agreed before that writing is one of the problematic areas you have. So we devoted our lesson today for writing. We're going to look at ways to deal with argumentative essay and how to organize your essay. I hope and wish that this lesson would be beneficial and you would gain lots of information to be useful by the end of the year exam.
So today we are going to deal with argumentative essay. We chose this topic because this is this type of essay is going to be you are going to be asked to write in during your SIPA exam writing, and of course which is coming shortly after some weeks. So that's why we thought of dealing with this type of writing today. So first, let's look at what is an argumentative essay. Of course, argumentative means you present an argument. It means that you look at the cons or the good points or the positive points of something. You look at the negative points or the pros, okay? And so after that, you deal with both points and then you present your own opinion and you try to persuade the reader. You try to make your point. So, what is an argumentative essay? Of course, an argumentative essay is like a persuasive essay. And as I said now, persuasive, it means you try to persuade the reader, the person who's reading your essay, with your own opinion. Either you are for the topic or against the topic. Okay, we call that persuasive essay, or in another word, argumentative essay. Also, an argumentative essay should present pros and cons of the issue. And as we said now, pros are the positive points and cons are the negative points, okay? So it's either the advantages or the disadvantages of a topic or of the topic of the essay. This we call an issue. Again, an argumentative essay should contain an argument. It means that you say the positive points, you state the positive points, and then you refer to the negative points, and you try to show the reader that which are more, the positive points or the negative points. This is the argument, okay? And let the reader himself or herself decide. Again, it's good if you just present your own opinion at the end, or you state your opinion at the beginning. Again, an argumentative essay should contain evidence or support for the issue. Again, as we said here, the word issue means the topic, whatever you are writing about. So these evidence, like what? Facts, statistics, anecdotal evidence, or something which the person, when you want me to agree on something or disagree on something, you have to make yourself very clear and support your ideas, okay? And how to support your ideas? By giving lots of facts, lots of statistics, okay? So this is again important. Also, an argumentative essay should concern a manageable topic. Let's say topic of everyday life, like driving fast or using the seat belt or smoking in the mall. Of course, all these are manageable topics, and some people say we agree, or it's not bad to drive fast because we want to go home early. Others say no, it's dangerous. And of course, which is more important, going home early or the accidents and dangerous things, okay, or dangerous attitude? Of course, being dangerous, then driving fast is something which is something which is not worth doing. Okay, so this we call it manageable topic. Again, giving evidence that driving fast could lead to accidents, could make lots of problems, and so on. This is evidence, okay? What is an argument? So now we talked about an argument essay. Now let's look at the argument itself. What do we mean by argument? An argument involves the process of establishing a claim and then proving it with the use of logical reasoning, examples, and research. So even in everyday life, we most of the time argue about things, okay? So any argument involves the process of establishing a claim and then proving it with the use of logical reasoning, examples, and research, okay? So you have to establish a claim to look at the idea you would like to talk about, okay, the topic, and then prove it. Is it good? Is it bad? According to your own opinion, okay? And prove it using logical reasoning. It's not like I don't like it. No, this is not the case here. So, and also prove it by giving examples, giving some research, or talking about statistics, as we mentioned before. This is the argument, okay? And that's why we are looking at this precise topic, because it's really good for you to understand how to form the argumentative essay, okay? How to argue about something. Now we are going to look at organizing your argument, how to organize whatever you are going to say. It's not like I don't like it, it's bad, something bad because I don't like it, or because I hate it, or because that's it, or without any reasons. No, you have to organize your argument according to some criteria. Remember in our other lessons on writing, we talked about how to organize an essay, and the topic, and of course the main components of an essay is having about 2 or 3 paragraphs, mostly about 3 paragraphs, maybe 4, where you have the introduction as a paragraph, and then you have the body, and the body could be composed of 2 paragraphs or more, and then you have the conclusion. And these are all very important, vital importance in writing an essay, okay? So now let's look at how to organize your argument. So, organizing your argument, first you have introduction, and of course, when we talk about about the introduction, we have the opinion statement, or whatever you say at the beginning, okay? Of course, in the introduction, as we mentioned before, you should have a topic sentence, which is very general about the topic you are discussing. You should have lots of other statements to talk about your topic sentence, and of course not so much, because you are going to deal with that in the body paragraphs. So in the introduction, you try to introduce whatever you are saying by giving a topic sentence and giving your opinion at the beginning. In the introduction, you just try to introduce whatever you are going to do for the reader, the person who's going to read your essay. Okay, so it's like preparing the reader for reading whatever you are going to say later on. Then you have body paragraphs, and of course the body paragraphs, what are they? They have topic sentence, because as we said, each paragraph should have a separate topic sentence. Okay, and the topic sentence is a general idea of what you are going to mention later on in the paragraph itself, okay? So it's not just a matter of one topic sentence, all the essay. No, each paragraph should have a topic sentence. Again, in the body paragraphs, you have also building of main points. So you put your topic sentence, whatever you want to say, and you try to build and explain the points you are mentioning, okay? Again, arguing, again, is the disagreement. So if you agree about something, then you say you agree because, you give the reasons. If you disagree, you argue for it. You just say, I don't agree because, and you give your reasons. And as we said, your reasons should be supported. Okay? It's not that just that you give just circular reasons like, I don't like it. It's my opinion. Yeah, you have to tell us why. And then after you finish that, we have the conclusion. And of course, the conclusion, as we also mentioned before, is like the introduction where you sum up everything you mentioned on top of it. Okay? So in the introduction, you try to introduce whatever you are going to say. And then in the conclusion, you summarize whatever you mentioned, but not in details, okay? Because in details, then it will be boring for the reader. The reader has already read your essay, and so the conclusion is like summing up, saying whatever you said earlier in a summarized way. Okay, just like reminding the reader whatever you mentioned. Okay, so how to organize the argument? You have introduction, which is the opinion, which is, as other words, we are preparing the reader who's going to read the essay, and then we have body paragraphs, and these body paragraphs can be according to whatever you are writing, can be 2 paragraphs, can be 3 paragraphs, or more, whatever you like. And again, each body paragraph should have a topic sentence and supporting ideas. Okay? And then at the end, you should put a conclusion, or the last paragraph should be for conclusion. And so you conclude whatever you discussed earlier. Like that. So it goes like this. Okay? Like a pyramid. Why is organization important in building an argument? Why should we organize this? Okay, as you can see in the illustration, why is this person trying to organize things, to put things in order, okay, to sort things out, to put things clearly? First, because it guides an audience through your reasoning process. What does that mean? Of course, here in this case, the audience is the person reading your essay. Okay? In other words, is the teacher who's going to give you mark. This is the audience. And so you are doing what? You are guiding this person who's going to give you mark through your reasoning process. How you go from one step to the other. Okay? So it is like telling him or her how to read your mind. Okay, that's why you are organizing your essay. Okay, to tell the person, okay, I'm going from this point to that point to that point, and of course, in in your case, the person giving you a mark is a very important person to impress, to get higher mark. Also, it offers a clear explanation of each argued point. Okay? So it gives a clear explanation of each point you are going to talk about. So let's say smoking is harmful, then you need to explain why. Okay? So when you organize your argument, you just offer an explanation for each point you are arguing to or against. Also, show the reliability of the writer. It means that if this person is a good writer or not, if this person is a capable writer to present an argument or not. Okay, so these are the importance of building an argument. First, as we said, we guide the audience through our reasoning process. And as we said, the audience here is the person reading your writing, or in other words, the teacher is going to give you a mark. And again, it offers a clear explanation for each point you are going to look at or you are going to argue about, and it shows that you are a good writer. Now it says here going from map to text and text to map is the same process in reverse. So it's like you go, you map, you plan your text, and then you do the same process. Okay. Begin where you will end and end where you began. So it is like you say it something and then you re-say it again in another way. Okay, so it's all this goes into the argument itself. So begin where you will end and end where you began. So at the beginning you begin, and at the end again you just state it again. And in this case we have like the case as what I mentioned earlier about the introduction and conclusion. In the introduction you state something, you begin whatever you want to say, and then at the end, which is the conclusion, you just say again what you started at the beginning in a different way. What is an introduction? So what is an introduction in the essay? As we mentioned before, that an introduction tells the reader about the topic and purpose of your essay. Okay, so you are preparing the reader and telling him about the things you are going to write about. Okay, as we said, so you are introducing your topic and you are preparing the reader for whatever is going to be mentioned later on. Also, an introduction produces the audience's interest in the topic. So again, in our case here, the audience, as we said, is the person who's going to assess or give marks for your essay. Okay, so it produces the interest, it arises the interest of the reader. Okay, so if you have good introduction, then the interest of the reader is raised, and then the person is going to read it well. And so again, in your case, the person who's going to read your essay is the teacher who's going to give you a mark. And you need to arouse this person's interest in order to give you a higher mark. Also, an introduction offers a plan for the following argument. Okay, so again, as we said, in the introduction, you plan whatever you are going to talk about. Again, I think I mentioned this earlier when we said in the introduction, you just give the topic sentence, you introduce whatever you want to say, and you plan your argument. Either your opinion is for or against, or you just give reasons for whatever you are going to mention later on in your essay, in the body. Okay, so really, introduction to an essay is very important. Okay, so what I tell my students to do in the class is, whenever they're going to sit for a SEPA exam, they just have to write a very good introduction paragraph, because this is good to impress the person who's going to mark the introduction or mark the essay. Again, when you write an introduction, you try to use the prompt you'll have on the SEPA test paper. Okay, so just paraphrase the prompt and try to give your own opinion only in one sentence. Okay. What is introduction again? Get the attention of the reader. So introduction, again, in other words, they get the attention of the readers, or we call them attention getter or attention hook. So whatever you write should be focused and should be well prepared. Also, introduction provide background information to orient the reader to the issue. And here we have the word orient, means to put the reader on track, okay, to make him understand whatever you are going to talk about. So it's like preparing the reader for whatever is going to be mentioned later. Okay, so it provides background information to make the reader, to prepare the reader for whatever is going to be mentioned later, okay? Also, what does the reader need to know about this issue? This is another meaning of providing background. So it's like when the reader is reading the introduction, he just have the basis of whatever you are going to mention later, okay? Again, an introduction creates an opinion statement or argument to guide the reader. And this is true as far as we mentioned earlier, that, of course, it should have an introduction or a topic sentence with the opinion you're going to adopt all through your essay. So the reader from the beginning can know your opinion even though you are presenting an argument. Okay? We're going to look now at methods for constructing an introduction. And of course, the word constructing, as you can see from the illustration, what are these people doing? These people are, of course, building something, okay? Or helping in building. They are constructing things. So constructing here means to build, okay? To start by something and then put on other things to it. So one of the methods for constructing an information is, of course, personal tale. And here personal tale is like giving a personal story or personal experience about the topic you are going to argue for or against. Example, real or imaginary, can be an example, giving example. It can be a real example which happened in our day-to-day life, or imaginary one. A question, and of course a question which you try to answer all through your essay. Okay. Quotation, and what do we mean by quotation? It means words taken words said by a famous person, and you try to use these words to reinforce your idea and impress the reader, of course, because you are using these methods in the introduction. You can also use bad statistics, which is opposite to good statistics. Yeah. So let's say this is one of the methods. So bad statistics means that some bad figures of something. Okay. So what do we mean by statistics? Like using graphs, numbers, things like that. You can use just bad statistics means figures which are not real. Okay. So a person cannot believe them, and then you build on these things your introduction. So you can build your introduction on personal tale, as we said, personal experience, personal story, example, which can be real or imaginary, a question, a quotation, or bad statistics. What is an opinion statement? Of course, this is the most important sentence in your essay. So what is an opinion statement? So it is the most important sentence in your essay, okay? So because it gives your own opinion, as you can see from the illustration, it's whatever you have in mind is given or is produced, okay? So your opinion is the important one in the statement, and again you have in the essay, sorry, and again you have to argue and convince the person reading uh, with whatever you are saying. Lets the reader know the main idea of the paper, and of course here lets means if not, the reader knows the main idea of the paper or of your essay, of course. Okay, so if the reader don't know the main idea of the paper, then your opinion is the most important one. Again, this statement answers the question, what am I trying to prove? Or what am I trying to say? What am I trying to mention here? Okay, the argument itself. So the opinion, whatever your opinion is, this shows whatever you have in mind and you want the reader to be persuaded of. An opinion statement couldn't be an accurate statement. This is your own opinion. Nobody will tell you that your opinion is right or wrong. But you'll have to argue and prove whatever you have. Okay? Whatever you want to say, you have to prove it. So now let's look at the counter argument or the opposite opinion we are going to look at. Let's say as when we talked about driving fast. So let's say people will say driving fast is dangerous. Okay, this is one point. The counter one is driving fast is okay because we need to go to work or home early. Okay, so this is what we call counter argument. What is a counter argument? It addresses the case of the disagreement, okay, or something that you disagree about. So like some paragraphs throughout the essay that disprove the idea of opposition, okay, or to say that you don't agree about it. Also, the counter argument allow points which cannot be disproved, and of course it's like whatever you can prove or disprove, okay, or not prove. And here we use single words and phrases such as undoubtedly, unquestionably, and other words which show that you are talking about another point, okay, and this point is like a contrastive idea of whatever you have mentioned earlier. Again, the counter argument offer denial for arguments which can be opposed. So they deny or they don't agree, okay, for the arguments which can be opposed. And these use single words and paraphrases such as it has been argued, or however, or whereas, or other words or which I know that your teachers tell you in the class to use in order to show that you have another opinion or another argument to prove, okay? The role of the opinion statement. The opinion statement should guide your reader through your argument. And I think we said that before, is that your opinion should tell the reader whatever you are going to do, okay? So this is like you give your own opinion and you try to prove it. The opinion statement is generally located in the introduction of the paper, okay, or of the essay. So it's in this case you can put your opinion in the introduction. Some other way of putting your opinion can be in the conclusion, where you give the 2 points all through the essay. You give the advantages or pros, and you give the cons or disadvantages, and then at the end you tell the reader your own opinion. So it's according to whatever you want to do. Either start at the beginning by your opinion and then move on, or you give the pros and cons or advantages and disadvantages, and then you give your opinion at the end. So it can be at the beginning or at the end. Again, it may also be located within the body of the paper or in the conclusion, depending upon the purpose or argument of the paper. So again, as what I mentioned now, it can be at the beginning, it can be at the end, or maybe in the middle. But of course, if you are a very good writer, then you can choose the one which is in the middle, okay? But for your essay test, you please try to put your opinion either in the introduction or in the conclusion. Which opinion statement is the most effective for an argument about the need for decoding television sets? Okay, so let's look at these opinion statements, and try to choose which one which is the more effective one. Parents often too busy to watch television shows with their families can observe their children's viewing habits with the aid of a decode. To help parents observe their children's viewing habits, the decode should be a required feature for the television sets sold worldwide. Okay, first, in order to understand this argument, we are to look at the word decoding here, okay, to make it easy. Of course, decoding is it's whatever you have now on like a program in the television sets where you just stop your children seeing something on TV. Okay, so like you put a password or something, and the parent only know the password, so some of the movies or some of the programs wouldn't be allowed to be viewed on the TV set itself. Now, the third opinion statement is this essay will describe a decode system and examine the uses of the decode in television sets. Which one is which one is the effective for the argument about the need? Okay. So, of course, these are opinion statements, and one of them is suitable for the argument. Of course, when you choose one of these, you try to look at the argument, something good and something bad. Okay? Body paragraphs. In the body paragraphs, of course, it's the paragraphs which, of course, dealing with the body of the essay. They provide a clear topic sentence for each paragraph. So as we said before, you have to have a topic sentence for each paragraph, which is very important. And always the topic sentence is the most general sentence you are to write. Okay? Use topic sentence, actual detail, comments, statement, evidence, explanation, claim or idea or data. Okay, so of course all this should be used in the body paragraphs, okay, or the paragraphs of the essay which talk about the support, to support your argument. Of course, all these will help to build to the strongest argument, okay? You try to argue and convince the reader who's reading your work. Use a variety of appeals, and here by appeals we mean same as paragraphs and the construction of the paragraph. Also, it can be the linking words, it can be the use of your vocabulary, the use of the words, what type of words you are using to make it attractive and to convince the reader. Show logic and reasoning. It is like to show that whatever you are saying is logical and reasoned, okay? So it's whatever you say, just appeal to the person's mind. And deal with the disagreement or with the counter argument. So you have to present the argument, your idea, and also the opposed idea, the other idea. Of course, here again, we are going to look at the body paragraphs and topic sentences. Body paragraphs build upon the arguments made in the introductory paragraphs, okay? So again, we build on, as you can see in the illustration, we build on whatever we mentioned earlier, okay? We said something in the introduction, as we mentioned before, and so you are to build on it and try to convince the reader. Organize with the use of topic sentences that show the main idea of each paragraph. So of course you organize your paragraphs by using a topic sentence, and this topic sentence is, of course, deals with the main idea of each paragraph, as again we said earlier. Offering a brief explanation of the topic that can help the audience to become familiar with your topic. Again, you explain your topic, you mention the ideas you have, okay, and you support your ideas and make the reader, the audience, i.e. the teacher who's going to mark your essay, familiar, knows whatever you are talking about. Now the body paragraphs can be organized in different ways, okay? Paragraphs may be ordered in several ways depending upon the topic and purpose of your argument, okay? So there is not one set criteria or one set way to organize your body paragraphs. You can start by something, you can end by something. It's up to you, up to the writer. So these ways are like this. General to specific information. So you start by the general information and then you move to the specific ones. Okay. Most important point to least important point. So you start by the most important thing, which you feel that this is very important to talk about at the beginning, and then you go down to the least important ones. Weakest argument to the strongest argument. Okay. So you start by the weak argument, the weak point, and you move to the strongest, or vice versa. Okay, as we said before now. So it doesn't have one set way of organizing your body paragraphs. You can start by the disadvantages, go and then talk about the advantages and then conclusion, or you start by the advantages, you go through the disadvantages and then your conclusion. It's whatever you like. Or in one paragraph, look at one point, give its advantages and disadvantages. Look at another point, give its advantages and disadvantages according to whatever you feel. You can do it in more than one way. Offering a counter argument. Okay, so we are going to look at the other side of the argument or counter argument, another argument, which is of course the one you aren't you don't agree on, okay, or you aren't for, or you see that it has lots of disadvantages. Of course, these people are arguing, okay? One person got an idea and the other person got another idea, and they try to convince each other, okay? So they are arguing about something. Of course, this is done in speaking, as you can say, but as you can see, sorry, but of course we have to look at it now in writing. So the counter-argument, addressing the argument of the disagreement, is an important element in building a persuasive argument. So you have to say the good points and the bad points, okay, in order to convince the person in front of you or the person reading your work. So you have to say the good points and the bad points, not only the good points, okay, because sometimes for you, good points can be bad points for others. So you have to mention both. It shows your credibility as a writer. You have researched multiple sides of the argument and have come to a decision. So it is like you show that you tell the person reading that I know what I'm talking about, that I'm looking at something from all points and I can see the goods and the good points and the bad points, okay? And so your argument is really worthy of thinking of. Again, counter-arguments may be placed at various places within your body paragraphs. Again, you can counter your argument, you can put it in lots of places in your body, in the paragraphs of the body, okay? As you can see from the illustration, you can put things wherever you like. You may choose to build each of your main points as a contrast to the disagreed arguments. Okay, so you can do whatever you like. Build each of the main points as a contrast to whatever you are saying, as this is what I really mentioned about 1 minute ago, is that you can put the main points and you put its contrast or its opposite point or the negative points. Also, offer a counter argument after you have expressed your main arguments. So it is like telling the person that this is my point which is against, after you tell the person all your points which are for. Okay? Again, this is up to you. You can do it in lots of different ways, as I mentioned earlier. Counter arguing effectively, and how to counter argue something and to be effective in doing it. Okay, how to persuade the reader or the listener. Of course, consider your readers when you offer your counter argument. So when you just try to persuade somebody, you have to think of the reader, the mind of the reader. Okay, you don't ignore this person who's going to read. You have to think of the person who's going to read your argument. And of course, in this case, the most important person who's going to read your argument is the teacher. And the teacher is going to give you a mark, okay? I'm always trying to remind you. Also, you have to consider some of your opposition's concerns can show respect for their opinion. So, of course, even if you feel that this point is not that good, you have to show some concerns, and of course the most important thing is to respect their opinion. Also, you remain polite but firm. Okay, and again here the word yet means but. Yeah, don't forget that. So you try to be polite and at the same time try to be firm, that nobody can um, change your mind, if, of course, you are correct. Again, using rude or critical language can cause your readers to refuse your opinion without carefully considering your arguments. So if you argue in a rude way or bad language or critical language which humiliate the person listening or reading, then totally the reader will shut off and will never listen to whatever you are mentioning. And this is something which is not good. Now we are going to look at the part of the conclusion. Okay, so which is of course the last part. It says here, restate your main idea. So again, restate it here means say it again. So remember you talked about your main idea at the beginning in the introduction. And then now in the conclusion, you have to restate it, to say it again. Okay, remember when we said begin where you ended and end wherever you began. Okay, so it's the same. Or say it once, say why, and then say it again. Okay, so this is, but of course, be careful. When you restate something, you state it in summarized, not in detailed. Okay, because if you say it in detailed, this arouses boredom. Also, as I said now, provide a brief summary of your argument. Very brief summary. Okay? You don't say things all over again. Okay? Show how a group will benefit from following your argument. Okay? Just, which is again like advice. Like giving advice to the reader, that how the person who's going to follow your argument is going to benefit from your argument or your opinion, how, and of course try to defend your opinion. Okay, explain what might happen if your idea is not accepted. Okay, and of course here again it goes according to whatever you are saying, because sometimes the argument is clear, you don't have to do any explanation, but sometimes the argument you need to explain if the person did not accept your idea or the reader, so then there are lots of other consequences. End with a symbolic question or a question where you don't have to find an answer to, or you don't have to answer it, okay? It's like you leave it for the reader to find the answers by themselves, okay? Conclusion, or the big finale, and that's, of course, I think you knew the word, or you know the word finale. It's the word we use in describing the ending of a film or a movie or a play or something like that. Your conclusion should re-emphasize the main points made in your essay, as we said before. So your conclusion is very important because it's stating, emphasizing whatever you mentioned in your essay. You give advice about the topic, and again, as we mentioned now, you try to advise the reader, okay, and you have your own opinion and you give your own advice. Avoid raising new ideas in your conclusion. So it's not like you say something new in your conclusion. You restate whatever mentioned earlier, okay? But you don't give new ideas. New ideas, the place of new ideas in the essay is in the introduction and the body. Conclusion has no new ideas. Okay, examples of argumentative topics. And of course you can find these topics or these, it's like a topic of an essay. You can find any one of them during your CIPA test, writing CIPA test, okay? You may not, we don't know. First one is like smoking in public places should be banned. Should it be banned or not? Okay? Are you for stopping smoking in public places, or you are against? So you have to present your argument. You are for banning the smoking in public places, or you are against, and you have to say why. Okay? Again, another topic, studying abroad is better than studying in one's own country. Again, this is one of a topic which lots of people argue about. Okay, so studying abroad, should students go to study abroad in foreign country, or is it better for them to study in their own country with their family? So, which is better, going abroad and studying in one's own country with their own families? So again, you have to say, are you for? Are you against, and why? Animal testing should be stopped. Again, what do you mean by animal testing? It's when some of the medicine companies, they use, in order to produce new medicine, they use animals to test this new medicine on. If the animal, or if the health of the animal is okay, then they start to give it to people. If not, then they stop it. So again, is it okay to do testing on animals or not? Some people say no, you don't have to, because animals are, again, um, they have we can't do it. And other people say yeah, because it's safer, because we want to save the people or the people's life. Also, we have here another argumentative topic, which is like video games make kids aggressive and or violent. Okay, so again, some people say that video games should be stopped, and kids don't play video games because they can change their attitudes into being aggressive or violent, or being both aggressive and violent. So, are you for, against, and why? Okay, so complete pre-writing, or the pre-writing stage, is like that. How to figure it out? Okay, how to plan for your writing. The topic is, should mobile phones be banned at school? So this is the topic. Is it okay to have mobile phones at schools? Of course, concerning students, we're not talking about teachers here. Okay, so should mobile phones be banned at school? Should students take mobile phones or not to school? Okay. So, in order to plan your essay, here is an example by using a chart. And of course, by we say a chart, it means that we are using a table. Okay? So it's like that. The table would have four would have against, and you just jot down some points, or sorry, write down some points. So the person who's for can say it's helpful for students or to students. It keeps them in touch, and of course it is a storage tool or with memory, something you can keep on its memory. The people who are against, it is a distractor that, of course, if students have their own mobiles in class, they would not concentrate while the teacher is explaining. Also, it is misused, so misused or used in a wrong way. Again, there are some health problems. So this is a way of pre-writing, okay? You just put points, and you try to, while you are doing this, you try to put your introduction. After this stage, this is the planning part. You try to put your introduction, and then you allocate paragraphs for and paragraphs for against, or you do vice versa. You start by the against, and you go for, and so on. Then you think, now you planned which is more important. As you can see, the use of mobile phones at school, is it very good to be used at school because of these reasons? It's helpful to students. Helpful in what way? Okay, keep in touch with whom? If the students are in school, whom they should be keeping touch with? Again, storage tool for what? Yes, I know some students, they use their mobile phones as dictionaries. Yeah, I know that, but they don't have to do that in school, okay, in class. They can do that at home when they go home. So you think, which is more important? Is it the against points or the for points? So you have to think. I think according to these points mentioned, the against points are more important, because really the mobile phone at school can be distracted, will not concentrate, they are used in a wrong way, and there are some health problems. So you can arrange your essay according to whatever you see appropriate, and also according to the importance of the points. Okay? So again, there is another general outline of a paper or of the essay. First, you start by the introduction. And again, the introduction will hold in it the topic sentence. And, as we mentioned before, a paraphrase of the prompt. And by here, we are focusing on the CEPA writing exam. Okay? And of course, you know that on the CEPA day, you'll have a prompt where they describe things, and then they ask for the question to write on or to fulfill. So you'll, in order to write a very effective introduction, try to paraphrase the prompt. Okay? And then you give reasons for your opinion. So you state your opinion, and then you give reasons for it. You don't have to write full. You don't have to write much, because these reasons you are going to restate them again in the body and say them again in the conclusion. So you don't have to write full, but you just give one or two reasons for your opinion. It's like, I disagree because something and something, or I agree because something and something. And then this something, you just reuse it again in the second paragraph and elaborate on it, talk about it more. Then you have the body, and the body will have evidence, which is in paragraph 1. Let's say paragraph 1 of the body. Be careful, okay? Don't misuse that. Paragraph 1 of the body. Paragraph 1 of the essay is the introduction. Okay, so please be careful with this. So paragraph 1, it means the first paragraph of the body part, which has one of the reasons you mentioned earlier. Okay, so evidence or support for the reasons you talked about in the introduction. In paragraph 2 of the body, you give another reason or another evidence for your opinion. And then you can add other reasons and go as far as paragraph 3. So this is according to whatever you want to do. This is up to you. Okay, you can write more. You don't write. It's up to you. Okay. So as far as the body, it can have 2 paragraphs or 3, whatever you like. It can be more, no problem. But in your body, you try to talk about the reasons you mentioned earlier in your opinion. Okay. And then at the end, you have the conclusion, which is, as we said, the restatement of the introduction. You restate whatever you mentioned earlier in the introduction. And you give your, again, advice, or again, you say your own opinion briefly. Okay? Don't forget the word briefly. So the outline of a paper or of an essay is introduction, body, conclusion. So, what is an argumentative essay? So, by this we come to the end of our lesson, which was about our argumentative essay. I think this was a clear set of um, what should you do in your exam. Okay, wish you good luck.
By this, we come to the end of our lesson today. I hope that you have enjoyed it and you knew how to deal with writing, especially argumentative essay, because this is the type of essay you are going to write during your coming exam, which is definitely, on the 16th of May. Hope you all the best of luck. Thank you.